Senator Tim Scott, because my chat is horrible and didn't tell me my mic was muted. Tim Scott said some dumb shit. I just finished covering this. I'm not going to repeat it for the segment. Should have been here. Should have. You wouldn't have heard it anyway. um, I just For the last time, Senator Scott, the January 6th insurrectionists were Trump supporters, not Antifa doing cosplay as some of your colleagues like to pretend. The funny part of people blaming BLM and Antifa in disguise is Congress was rushed to safety, the vice president was rushed to safety. The only one who wasn't was the POTUS who with his cronies were watching monitors gleefully. They're going to debunk that. Tim Scott is one black man in a sea of all white GOP ocean screaming as if he's speaking for all black Americans. Why should Democrats trust this guy? Jesus Christ. And it's like he'll say, oh, I got called the Uncle Tom and I got called the N-word. But America's not racist. They're just bad actors. And I'm telling you, the bad actors are in control of the country. Okay, put it to you this way. If you had a guy, we just had a guy. So now this, I can't even give you an example because I'd have to pull from the very recent, if not 4 months ago, like person. So like, fuck y'all for this. If we had a president that was racist in private and then led the country in public like a unifying figure, you found out every day he goes home and every person he sees, he's like, you N-word, you fucking S-word, you T, like, you this, that. Why would you think his behind the door, like out of the office behavior doesn't influence his in office behavior? Like, are we on the same page about who people are? Are we this delusional to think like America's not racist? So, okay. So the leap I would have to make here is like, are you telling me that it's black people's fault where they are? And that's why I get angry about these things. Because when you try to really follow the line of logic, it breaks off so quickly and so easy. Senator Tim Scott says 100 years ago, kids were taught skin color was their most important characteristic. No. 100 years ago, 60 years ago, stop saying 100 like it's so far ago. 60 years ago, white children were taught that their skin color was what made them better than the other people who didn't have the skin color. But then again, it didn't even go there. It was about the purity of the white Aryan race, which beyond me, I don't even want to go and say doesn't exist. I know people who create the white like Yakub. Y'all not ready for that. We ain't ready for the Yakub, the diatribe there. Anyway, today kids are being taught that the color of their skin defines them again, and if they look a certain way, they're an oppressor. America is not a racist country. When everything and everybody is at a level playing field, we can have this conversation. But that's a weird way to rope around. It's not the color of your skin. It is the institutions we have literally built from the ground up that were once built in the identity of being a whites only or a white world worth of growth, while everybody else got the scraps of whatever we didn't want or would have to work for us in a form of slavery. Therefore, if the systems that we approach today have been built from the bones of those systems, then there is still a very hindrant bias in how these things work for general communities of color. It is not about us teaching kids that their skin color makes them an oppressor, whatever the fuck that means. It is us saying, hey, in this lifetime, you might have to do a little bit more work to help out your fellow person, because if you both just went and did your own thing, by default, this person is held back a certain amount. That's it. That's it. I don't get how we don't have a general understanding to this right now. It's backwards to fight discrimination with different discrimination. Reverse racism? And it's wrong to try to use our painful past to dishonestly shut down debates in the present. Okay, this is easy. I shouldn't be able to read a senator's words and find the broken logic within it like within 3 seconds. I should have to at least have some nuance in the discussion for me to be able to understand without a shred of like doubt where you're coming from. It's wrong to use our painful past to dishonestly shut down debates in the present. Which leads me to the statement. What's the compromise between the guy who wants to have you as a slave and the person who doesn't want to be a slave? What's the compromise? You would then start to really say, well, wouldn't it just be American society as a whole? Give the worker, the slave, a bunch of rights and the ability to go home while the person still gets to keep control of them and pretty much order them to go wherever you want? Yeah, labor. There's a whole like level to this if you want to make that argument. But that's an asinine argument, because then you'd just be saying, well, capitalism is just a form of slavery for everybody. And then I'd have to say, well, then look at the balance and like, and it was blah, blah, blah. Yeah. The communist socialist argument, we can have that later. I'm not versed enough to spit these facts out. Anyway, that still echoes my point. I just don't want to go deeper into it. What if I tell you there's a remnant of the way we used to do things and you tell me the thing is fine? What's the compromise? Fixing the system, right? They don't even want to do that, because the past, using the past to talk about how things are now is bad. Even though that's how, like, why did we learn in history classes, if you don't learn history, you're doomed to repeat it? What? Excuse me? Like, this dumb shit. Tim Scott introduced the Anti-Lynching Act because there is no racism in this country. Oh my God. Just because there are racist people doesn't mean the country is racist. I think I oh, this is what I was saying before when my mic was muted. This is the thing, the big arc thing. If you were to believe that if you were to believe your society would not tolerate those views, they would not exist in your society. You see what I mean? Like, you wouldn't harbor murderers in a society that you don't want people to be like murdered in. You wouldn't set off a bunch of bees in an area where everybody's allergic. If there are people who are racist in this country and they still have the ability to, maintain political office against all things or become major CEOs and make tons of money, then maybe it's not the value. Maybe the system upholds the values of both the racist and non-racist people. Therefore, the racist people are at equal odds with the non-racist people. And therefore, like, it is a racist country because you're either a racist or not. And apparently some people are. Amazing.
Another issue that should unite us is infrastructure. Republicans support everything you think of when you think of infrastructure. Roads, bridges, ports, airports, waterways, high-speed broadband. We're in for all of that. But again, Democrats want a partisan wish list. They won't even build bridges to build bridges. Less than 6% of the president's plan goes to roads and bridges. It's a liberal wish list of big government waste.
Less than 6% goes to roads and bridges. Y'all had y'all shot at Infrastructure Week a long time ago. I don't know Yeah. Like, where was the infrastructure plan then? Like, oh, 6% doesn't go to roads and bridges. How much is it then? 5.99? Let's go to the videotape. Hey, suck my. Literally bite me. So we'll fix highways, rebuild bridges, upgrade ports. I just want numbers though. Did we get a good look at the circle beforehand? It sounds like he's lying. I looked at the circle before it did the thing. Oh my god. Why? And this is my problem with it. Okay, so let's take it a little deeper. Cause I know I ain't say much because I'm just complaining about him. But like that don't sound like Uncle Thomas to you. That don't sound like the white people are fine. It's us who need to like you're one of three. You're one of three in a history that has never included you. Why are you sticking up for that? You could be a voice of reason and be like, yo, I see where they really winning with the black voters. We really got to change our plans to really do it instead of stop talking about like how they need to have responsibility for it because we see how the free market works and it's pretty much favoring the corporation. So let's do a little something for the people. GOP be like, nah.